right, today's notes are going to be writing in radical form and exponential form. And it is just like it sounds. Radical form is this one here. And it has a radical, and exponential form has an exponent. So this is basically going to be what you need to use in order to do all of these problems. You're going to notice that the number that is outside of the radical, this m here, is the same m here. So this m references the radical, and it's on the bottom. And then on the other portion, the n, that's the power that you're basically taking all of this to. That's the same n that's here, and this should be your power. So we're going to go between the two, but again, the m is the number outside the radical, and the n is the power. So the first directions say write each expression in radical form. So if I copy this, okay, so I have this n and m. If I say this is n and this is m, and then I go ahead and draw my radical, I know that the m, from matching it, goes outside. So that 3 will go outside and make sure it's small. And then the 1, basically we can ignore the 1 because when you take something to the first power, it doesn't do anything. So the 1 is basically, and I can write it two different ways. So I'll put the 2 underneath. You can have it like this with the 1. But we generally don't write the 1, so it's better just to leave it without. And so no 1 on the problem. And we can continue to do this for the rest of the examples. So here's n, here's m, okay? So kind of opposite alphabetical order, but the 5 is gonna go under the radical like the x, so you'll go radical 5. The bottom number, 4, will go outside, so this is a 4th root. That's usually what we call it with the radical. And then it's to the 1, so we won't write it, so that'll be your answer. Go ahead and try number 3. If you want to pause the video for a second, try number 3. So top number is your n, bottom number is your m. This goes under the radical, so 23. There's a 7, and then there's a 1, so again, we'll leave it. So those first 3 all had the same numerator of 1, so we did not write anything outside. Now let's look at 4 and 5, because that's how these are going to be a little bit different. So for 4 and 5, the top number, still our n, but it is not a 1 this time. Bottom number is m. You're going to draw your radical, put the number, the base underneath, so 6 will go under. And then the m number goes outside. So again, we're just always going back to this up here and copying this model here. So they're giving it this, and we're going to this direction. So then I will put a 3 outside, and then there is a number here. There's a 2, so you're going to put parentheses around the whole item and put a 2. You're not computing this, you're just rewriting. Now if we do number 5, the top number again is our n, the bottom number is our m, 16 goes under the radical, the bottom number, the 3 goes outside, parentheses around the top number. Now we're going to go the other direction. Now we're going to go from a radical and make it into an exponent. So we're going to, let me write it this way. So this is like m, and this is like n, and here's x. So you're going to notice again on these first 3, there's no parentheses. Since there's no parentheses, that means this n here will be a 1 for all of these, so we won't need to write it. If you look at examples 9 and 10, they do have parentheses and they have a number. Those are going to be just a little bit different. So my m, so I know this 3 is like my m, and I know when I write it from this form, it's always going to be, so this equals an x to the n over m. So x is 11, so here I have an 11, so it's going to be an 11. And then the power is the 3 is m, it goes on the bottom. And we can't just have it sitting there, so it's supposed to be a fraction. So you will put the invisible 1 that's here, you will put it on top. So this is an 11 to the 1/3 power. Okay, an 11 to the 1/3 power. Now we'll do the same here. So this we know is our m. The n is kind of like this invisible 1. So if we follow this format, so it'll be 5 and then n over m. So if you want to write the m first, that's usually what I do. And then I notice, hey, there's nothing on top, so I put a placeholder of a 1. So 5 to the 1/7 power. If you want to try number 8, you can go ahead and pause the video. For number 8, here again is my m. There's nothing here, so we'll say that's our n. So it'll be a 15. Again, I'm going to put the m on the bottom, and there's nothing outside, so I put a 1. So 15 to the 1/4. The last two, we do have values for n that are not 1. So again, the number outside the radical is m. The number outside the parentheses is n. And we're trying to still write it in this same format here. So x would be 7, n over m, so 2 over 3. So 7 to the 2/3 power. Okay, so this is like 7 to the 2/3 power. And that's how you would say it for this example. You don't have to write it, but that might help some of you. So again, the radical is my m. The number outside the parentheses is my n. I always do n over m. So 21, I'm going to put the 8 and then 3. So 21 to the 3/8 power. So this relationship right here is what you're going to need in order to do homework. And it's the same relationship that we started with up here at the top. So really make sure I would highlight this, underline it, do something so it stands out. But in order to do your homework, this is basically what you need to use.